Yeah, it's the second set of twins we've had this year, and both sets done well. The real party
All right,
came
I've got
next
6
day
o'clock. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order.
put her in the barn.
Fine. Please.
Sure, Frank. Well, thank you again for the opportunity to come together with the city's business. And as always, pray to God in our discussions and express our decisions in this evening in your name we pray. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I want to welcome you to the council meeting tonight. It's a regular meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Jim Hendy.
Here.
Kenny Edmondson. Marissa Hewitt. Here. Clay Crucker. Ron Maddox.
Here.
And I will mark Sarah Karen Patton.
All right, that constitutes a quorum. You have a copy of the agenda in front of you. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Not? Motion to accept. Motion by Jim. Is there a second to approve the agenda?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Show of hands. All right. Motion carried. All right, there are 2 sets of minutes. Minutes from the September 4th meeting. I'll throw them up on the screen. Hopefully you got a chance to go through those before the meeting. We don't have to spend a lot of time. It's kind of a long meeting. And then there's another set of meetings or minutes from the little short meeting we had, special meeting. If you've had a chance to go through these. Motion by King to accept the minutes. Is there a second on that motion? Second by Clay. All in favor? All right, motion carried. And then the second minutes are from the 6th, and that's all there was. I think that was about a 4-minute meeting.
Move to approve the minutes.
All right, is there a second? Second by Kenny, all in favor? I'm sorry, Ted. All in favor? Okay, sorry. Thank you. All right, both sets of minutes been approved. All right, Chief Smith, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Chief Kells? You got a new officer.
Yeah. Blake Hill just graduated Friday from the police academy. He's on the road right now. I've had him up here, but they're working a record. Can't introduce you. So if he gets done, I'll get him up there.
You have anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. There's 2 water test reports. There's stage 2 reports. I think, Robbie, you told us that you had these in, but we got them back to the last meeting.
Yeah, they've all come back good, and then there's another, just routine come back also, yeah.
Any questions for Rob on these 2 tests? These stage 2 is a quarterly test, I think, right?
Yes.
All right. Ken, do you have anything? Barry?
Just we'll be opening bids Friday for the School Street Alley paving project. But I've spoken with Riegler and Eaton, and they both have indicated that it would probably be spring before they could even get to do it. Because they're so backed up. Just down there in July.
I just wanted to remind you about the Grapes and Greens. You'll see the little flyer over here on the side of the website. It's got the information. That's a local winery. The proceeds from that event go to the senior center and fund some of our programs that they do throughout the year. Brent, do you have anything for P&Z or any of those? I've got a letter from the Daughters of the American Revolution, who remind us that on this day in 1787, on September 17th of 1787, the Constitution was signed, and that their job, what they like to do, or what they try to do, is just to keep the generations up to date on the importance of the Constitution, and that in 1952, President Eisenhower established this week as Constitution Week. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that this is Constitution Week, and it was on this day in 1787 the Constitution was signed. There is a copy of the Constitution, the preamble to the Constitution, if you want to take a look at that as well. I received a cover letter from, or a phone call and a cover letter from the KMUA. I attached the brochure here. They're kind of they're a municipal utilities association. They asked us to join their association. I told them to send me some information. I would pass it to you guys to see if it was something you were interested in. They gave us a 1-year free membership into this association. It's kind of a lobbying group for municipal utility agencies in the state. So I attached that brochure if you want to take a look through there and see if that's something you wanted us to be a part of. In old business, on the 4th of September, there was a motion to table the pay data quarterly payment refund request. Just so you understand the way Robert's rules, once an item is tabled, it requires a motion to take it off the table. If there's not a motion, then okay. Well, then, do you want to bring this information up? You wanted to table it for this meeting, until this meeting. So, where do you want to go from there?
No, it's the one that sent the letter.
The letter you hold is attached here.
So they were the ones that wanted you guys to raise their penalties and late fees due to us receiving their check late. They feel that they mailed it in plenty of time. We received it 1 day late. And so that's what we're asking you guys to waive it.
All right, do you want to take any action on this? Obviously, you're not obligated to. This was a request that was made when, obviously how this works is my job and is to enforce the ordinance. The ordinance doesn't allow for me to waive the penalties for this, so that's why you guys are getting it.
How can you not do anything about it when you already opened the gate on it?
Does anybody want to make a motion? Do you want to further discuss this, or do we move on?
Was it in 2015 that they were late then also?
Correct.
I make the motion, take it off the table, so we can discuss it. Get it settled.
Is there a second? For the table? I'm sorry? All right, so there's a motion and a second to remove from the table. All in favor? All right, that passes. So now that it's off the table and open for discussion.
Well, I think we've been getting all of these, and we probably need to solve it, I mean, if we keep doing it. So I think we should not waive the fees. We should be enforced. I make that as a motion.
All right, is there a second to Jim's motion?
Motion again, please.
Can you reread the motion?
Yes. To do not waive fees and enforce ordinance and revenue.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or deliberation?
How much was the fees?
$74.36.
I don't think we've received anything to date. But,
Is that the one on the bottom of the check that was printed at?
Correct. Yes, that's where they printed it on 7/16 at 4:14 p.m.
At least this case was different from the other case. I didn't say it did. No, I was just stating. The time was 7/16, the date 7/16, the time was
14, 15 p.m.
Yeah,
It's sideways up there, but that's a copy of the check that we're looking at.
GT, I don't think it's any different from the lady who came down here, and, to be honest with you.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it's any different. I mean, it's gonna have to stop somewhere. I mean, we opened up a can of worms.
That's why I was saying we just need one talking right now.
We're gonna put something into effect.
Well, there's already something in effect. It's the ordinance that doesn't allow for it, so there's a motion on the table. It's just
Well, I know we discussed this before, but about your posting, about your postmark date, and you keep saying that it's a conflict with.
Well, the ordinance doesn't allow for that. The ordinance states that it needs to be here. So if you guys wish to change that and allow a postmark, then you need to change your ordinance. The ordinance does not allow you to have a postmark. It says it's to be in office by the close of business on the meeting, just like everything else that the city has is here. We don't have anything that we say post a postmark on. So if that's what you want to do,
Community relations,
I think you guys need to, I think you need to pick a order right in it. I think you need to be consistent. And we can't, at this point, I think, trying to be somewhat objective about this, you can't undo what you did, but I think you need to get to consider if they need to amend their ordinance to reflect a different sort of deadline, and then strictly adhere to that, or
If we can amend this deadline, then somebody else can get that deadline.
Oh, sure.
It's postmarked.
You're exactly right, Jim.
It's
And
good.
There's ways
It's
around
not.
it. And as unfortunate as what I want to tell you is, I've worked for big companies. They have a machine there. They walk up, they punch 5 or 6 envelopes for the day that everything's supposed to be due, and that sits there. I mean, but as long as they can send it in a month later, but the postmark's there. This is just one of those things about business. I mean, and I'm not saying it's right business. I'm saying that it happens. And I've worked for companies that have done that. And this is a hard, fast, the ordinance was set up basically to be a hard, fast rule.
All right, any further discussion?
Mr. Lawyer, asking about the liability.
I think Kenny just did that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, GT, I don't think we can necessarily close the door on the liability that's been open, but I think the council needs to make a decision that there's the door any wider and be consistent from this point forward.
Right.
And I'm not saying that you should change the ordinance, but if you're inclined to, then do so, and then enforce that. There's pluses and minuses with both approaches, certainly, but I would like to see the council to decide firmly how they want it to read it, and then to enforce it across the board.
Today is Malcolm Cost Spring on Tuesday, that's Tuesday. Postmark, I mean, it's got to go. It should be postmarked, it's simple.
Well,
This
happens all the time, but we tell them that the ordinance is very clear in what it's stated. This time, they've actually asked for it before council. And then once one person did it and found what the outcome was, more people started doing it.
The conversation
Yes.
is, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to change it. I cannot waive any fees if that is what the ordinance states. Well, who can? The only person who can change the ordinance is council. You would have to present to council. Well, have they ever waived it in the past? Before, the answer was no. Well, then it's not worth you wasting my time. Now, I have to say yes, they have. So now I'm going to say that we probably are going to have these more, because we have, I would say, 100 or more a quarter that are late.
All right.
If we go in and say, personally, no, then you say, that they have been doing it lately. They did it in the past, and have been doing it lately. So,
Or they can present to
Tell the
council.
city attorney got after you for doing it. I didn't blame me, but the first time I didn't blame me. I mean, that's part of my job. I don't have a vote on this council. I'm not a council member, and I try to moderate what I say. You guys are voting because you guys make the decisions, but that vote on that particular issue bothered me more than surprised me more than the rest, if I'm candid on that. For this sort of reason, I mean, when you couldn't do it, I mean, certainly you could do it, but I was a little surprised by that particular vote. And concerned about what was going to happen down the road. I mean, everybody wants to give people breaks. I mean, even I like to give somebody a break if I can, but this is what I'm into, unfortunately. So, maybe part of it is, the city attorney strongly suggested that we got to continue to do this.
I think as long as you stay consistent, moving forward, we're going to forward.
we will.
We're going to continue to be consistent in enforcing the ordinance the way it was written on a day-to-day basis. That's what our job is for the staff and mine as supervisor. However, if the council wants to change it, we'll enforce those rules. So, all right, is there any further deliberation on that? or discussion? If not, can I have a vote, please?
Yes. Sarah?
Someone want to read that?
Yeah, could you?
Yes, I'm sorry, Sarah. Okay, so, the motion was, and I'm not sure what you know, so if I go back too far. Okay, so on this one is, do not waive any of the fees and enforce the ordinance as written, is the motion. Yes. Carissa? Yes. Kim?
Yes.
Kenny? Clay? Ron?
Yes.
All right, unanimous, motion carries. If we do have any further requests, and they ask to come to council, we'll bring them to you. And then, like the attorney just kind of explained, the best thing to do is to stay on the same page.
And maybe I should have been more vocal that night. I think I was a little bit, if I remember, I should have
And if
been a little stronger about that. But
When they come to you, Mayor, do you pretty much tell them?
I tell them the same thing, that I don't have the authority to waive, you know,
If you change the
waive
postmark.
penalties because the ordinance doesn't allow it. You guys are the policymakers, you set the rules, the laws, the ordinances. And all we get to just enforce those rules and laws.
You know, you kind of look at things, I know the vote's over yet, but I'm going to say that. You sort of look at things as we're a small town. We're not New York City. And that's the reason I voted for that one lady was, you know, one day if my wife ever, she pays all the bills, if something happens to her and I forget to pay my water bill,
Right. But here's,
I hope to God you all ain't gonna charge me $35, but I guarantee you will, because I paid.
You are.
You have to be.
I paid it, you are.
well,
Well, to me, that's a bunch of BS, but.
I missed it. I missed the bill. I gladly paid the $35 fee and
Well, kind of want to
let it go.
kind of ask for a break every now and then. I mean, we've never been late on anything, and then all of a sudden,
to your point, Kenny,
Yeah.
and this kind of goes to DT's question a little bit earlier. The circumstances aren't quite the same between the first time and this time. The first time, there had never been a late or missed payment ever. And basically what you guys did is you gave her a break because she'd never been late. You could kind of look at it that way. This time, there was a past record of missed payments, so you enforced the rules. So you've kind of already given, and you can look at that. You know, it's kind of like exactly what you asked for. That's a way to kind of answer your question, DT. The two were the same, but they were a little bit different than the circumstances. One had never been late, this one had been late before, so. All right, any other discussion? All right, we'll move on to business number 2 in old business. The reason why I put the dam in old business is a few years ago we received notification from the dam safety people, and I've been looking forward to this all day, about our dam. And we took the action. There was a problem with the spillway where it had eroded and was leaking, and there was a problem with the brush growing up on the dam. So they were under they're under the premise that any vegetation that grows on the dam, like trees or any kind of anything with a root, is basically poking a lot of holes in the dam or it can leak. So they told us that we needed to fix those deficiencies. In 2016, we started that project and we got that done. And they did their inspection on April of 17. And that's a copy of the dam safety report. I've been looking forward to saying this all day. And in that report, I think I know I showed it to you right after we got that, but in 2016, after we got done with the work, this is what the dam looked like after it was cleared from debris. You can see the slope was taken care of. It was fine. This was right before they planted seed to get the grass and stuff back on it. Now these pictures were from late 2016. Fast forward to September of 2018. And as you know, we've had, it doesn't just rain anymore, it rains a lot. And we actually had a slide on the dam last week. And that's what these pictures are to show you of where we're at now. Ron, can you turn the lights off so we can see? Chief Smith walked down there with me the other day just because I was going down there by myself. But this entire section of the dam has slid, and it slid down towards the runoff area. A couple other pictures here of it. But you can see where that cliff that is showing there now was not there before. Now what's really interesting is right here, there's a fairly heavy stream of water coming out of that part right there. That's the backside of the dam. That is not where water is supposed to be coming from. And here's another angle of it just so you can kind of see where it was that kind of slid. All right, so once we found out about that, I got in touch with the dam people about our dam problem and asked them to send an inspector to look at it. Yeah. You can, I made that call last Tuesday, and I've sent them all the pictures, we sent them all the information that they want. They have not been back in contact. I called them late today and got voicemail again, but this was just nothing more than to let you know of this issue with the dam. So even though we followed all of their recommendations and a little more than a year ago they approved it, we're still have another problem with it. So I'll keep you posted, but I just wanted to let you know. It's kind of hard to get down in there. You're welcome to get down in there, but you're at your own risk of climbing down on that hill. All right. Any questions on that? Like I said, I'll keep you posted. I go down every couple of days just to check the hole where the water's coming through and make sure it's not. All right. The next thing that I also wanted to bring up in old business, since we're talking about that, was about 5 or 6 council meetings ago, we took a little field trip over to the red building to look where the ceiling had caved in and talking about the future possibilities with that red building. Then we took a tour of the gray building and looked at the compaction on the front of that building where it was sinking, and as they were bringing equipment in and out, it was causing the ground to move and the whole building to shake. You guys told me that night just get with the engineers, take a look at it, see what they recommended to do. We did get that report back. Here's the report if you want to read it in its entirety. I'll just kind of skip down to the important stuff. They talk about a lot of things in here. The biggest concern they have is that problem with the foundation can be fixed. The biggest concern they have is they can't find any stamped blueprints from when that building was built. So they ran the load calculations on to try to figure out why the building was shaking when the equipment would go in or out. And basically, they can only give us a weight rating of 9,700 pounds for the floor capacity in that building. So as soon as they sent this engineering report to us, I had the maintenance guys take the heavy stuff out of that. Obviously the Bobcat, the the tractor. They're both stored on the same side. So we won't be able to put the dump truck in there to work on it, those type of things. So that's suspended. You can read through here and you can read, and they explain or how they come to that conclusion. But Larry Martin. It's only 4 inches thick concrete for the floor with black lace floor trusses, steel floor trusses, bar joists. So as you can see, so we've already went ahead and taken the preventive action to remove the heavy load, and I let them know that they can't put more than 9,700 pounds in each one of the bays. If you look on through the report, it does say per bay. So they could put equipment in one bay and then, 9,000 pounds in one bay and 9,000 pounds in the next bay. But they typically pull the dump truck in there in the wintertime. It's loaded with salt. And what's the weight on that, Barry?
Probably just under 20.
So it's about twice the capacity of what we have a weight range for. The only reason I'm bringing this stuff up to you is obviously when we found this out, it was enough of a concern that I needed to bring to your attention, and that we have to look at all of these problems that we're having. What this started out was just looking at the sinking problem that we were having in front of the building. That building was built in 2006, so it's just 12 years old, and it's already had significant sinkage. There's a portion of the foundation that's got a little problem in the backside of it as well. And then we all took a look at the red building. And then when you couple this on top of the problems that we're still having at the fire station, the only reason I'm bringing all this up to you again is just to reiterate that we have a lot of infrastructural problems with our buildings that we haven't addressed as a city. We haven't addressed these issues in a long time, if ever, and we have to address them because the problems aren't going away. That's all I'm doing is keeping you up to speed on any of these.
So they're wanting to rebeam it, more thicker concrete on it, more have to be redone, and then put joists or
Yeah, I think that's what their report was, their recommendations. To do that next piece, they wanted a separate contract to do the engineering for that, which I think was $2,300 to do the engineering for that. But it would either be an over pour of another 4 inches on top of that floor, which then is going to cause a step, and even higher transition to get into the building from the outside. Or going underneath and putting new steel work in, new I-beams, which is going to lower the ceiling height in the basement, which is going to make a lot of it unusable. So, or a combination of both. They didn't go so far as to do that yet. All right. Any questions on that? Like I said, it's mainly just to keep you informed, keep you up to speed, but we have to work on these issues moving forward. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Item 1 in new business is the Main Street parking. Mainly I just wanted to have a discussion. We've got some information. We've got a couple folks here that are in the audience that businesses on North Main Street. There's been an issue. There's been a lot of complaints about North Main Street parking. I think it was in either January or February. We had a meeting right here where every single property owner on North Main Street, from the intersection to Audio Unlimited, was invited. We had just a big roundtable discussion about how to address the parking issues, the overnight parking, private parking versus public parking versus nowhere to walk for the sidewalks, and all of that. I really thought we were having some good discussions about that. and it never, the new owner of the Pinewood wanted to, she wanted to expand her parking lot in the front so she could get the parking spaces that are in front of the Pinewood. They're currently about 3/4 of the parking spaces in the right of way, which puts it under our jurisdiction, so under the city's jurisdiction to regulate that. She wanted to turn the parking spaces by expanding her parking lot out so they would be completely on her private property. And then she could use those as her own parking. That's where a lot of this dispute came from, is that she wanted her tenants to be able to park exclusively in those parking spaces. But since they were in the right of way, they were under the government's, public parking that's enforced by the city. The state puts that entire responsibility on the city, but they don't get into the middle of that other than it is in the public right of way. And then however we choose to enforce it. So that's kind of where all of it came from. And then since then, her property has been resurveyed, which if Mildred's here, I'd tell her the same thing to tell you guys. She should have stuck with the first survey because the second one was even worse for her. It showed that her property was even farther back from where she was. So she was going to have to make even more, take more of a front of her building out, which wasn't cost effective for her because it required removing all the water connections, the sprinkler connections, and a lot of different stuff that's going to be a lot of money for it. So, Ron, if you wouldn't mind, can you turn this off? There is a hard copy here. There's only one because it's a couple pages, but just to give some perspective, I'm actually going to show that here. Here is, these are some pictures that we pulled up. Yeah, that's right. These are some pictures we picked up. We pulled out of archives from around the 40s, early 50s, at North Main Street. Now, some of the pictures are not that good because they're scans of really old pictures that were copies to begin with. So, but this is in a parking space. What we've done here is I've done the picture and then what that exact parking space, or as close as I can get to, looks like literally today because I did it today. Took the pictures. So. And then a side-by-side comparison. So you can kind of see where things were 50 to 60 years ago and where they are now. And this is, a lot of these pictures all focused on around the store, the grocery store, and right there along that area. So it's nothing against them, it's just a lot of those pictures, these pictures are on there. This is another picture, it's kind of hard to see. The original picture is a little easier to see, but I don't have a pointer on here. But right behind that truck is the block wall that is there by Conrad. That's the Conrad property, where that block wall is, and then there's the telephone pole. Between the telephone pole and that wall is the sidewalk, then and still today. Now, obviously, I couldn't get to the exact angle from there, but that's kind of within the same direction. All right, here's an interesting picture of somebody who's more of a car aficionado can tell me about what year that is, but 54? All right, so early 50s. You'll see all the cars parked on the Pinewood side are all, they're not parallel, they're perpendicular parking, I guess, whatever that's called. But it's clear from the picture that there's on-street parking in a parallel format right there in front of that car would be today parked right in front of Timmy's garage, or roughly right there. All right. This is a really good picture showing new cars being unloaded for at the time, the Buick dealer was there. I'm not sure. I think it was a Buick dealer. There at the Standard Oil. That's that same picture today. Yeah, and be John Rose as well. This is taken right in front of the door to Timmy's building today, looking towards Polly's building. And obviously, this was a little bit easier to see where the telephone pole is, the concrete road or concrete wall where Conrad's property is. And obviously, this is the same picture today. Right. Again, I'll just kind of speed up through these.
Oh, sorry, can you switch back to where that blue circle is? Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to get the same angle as the windows in the store, kind of looking down the sidewalk.
They've been talking about this thing for 5, 6 years, they've been jacking up this piece of shit.
Sidewalk is just magic.
Well, the right-of-way goes, there's actually a right-of-way. It's on the other side of the Conrad wall, and there is when the state surveyed it, when they sent their folks down to take a look at it, it's about, 2 or 3 foot, Timmy, from the door out towards the street.
Who's building?
On Holly's building, that's the only one that I can remember the paint mark on.
3 foot from his front door.
Yep.
It's his survey pin. He was property in that property.
Here's another picture. This is with the Citizens Bank in the background. I'm thinking that's what that picture is. Obviously, the perspectives are a little bit different because of the cameras, but this is just looking straight across. I thought this is. See, this is what Timmy's building would be today, or then to today. And then this is a really bad picture, but it's a tow truck pulling in a school bus parked in front of that building. Same perspective. All right, here's the center line. This is the picture taken right at the center line. So you can see that the way that cars are currently parked in front of Pinewood, they are still in that orientation, that, whatever you call it, parallel, or horizontal, or whatever, I don't know what it's called. Perpendicular, whatever.
Perpendicular, parallel would be.
All right, this is down in front of, what's the new, soon to be the new tattoo building, where they're moving down into this building. It used to be the old eBay building. You can clearly see that there's 10, 12-foot sidewalk, and then parking space, and then the fog line, which is the white line, and then traffic. Backed up a little bit farther. See different vehicles in there. But you can clearly see that's how that car gets down there. This is looking back the other way. On the other side of it, you can see there's no markings on the Pinewood side whatsoever, at least this far down. And even when you come this far up, there's actually no markings. It's just however people can squeeze in there. So, all right, so that's kind of where we're at today. So if we did put some sort of parking plan into effect, I've actually got handouts of these. This is kind of what some of these parking spaces will look like. Based on what we could tell from those pictures, and then just trying to fit things in the best we can. The yellow blocks are the current ones. It's currently the way it is today. If you start back here, this is the lighthouse building. This would be what we just looked at, the eBay building. And then this is where the tattoo shop is now, so Miss Wells, no relation. And then this would be Mr. Beaver's property. to about right here, where that jet ski is, and then this would be the area where Polly has his shop. And then these are existing parking spaces right now. And then I wanted to bring this up. Did Rick make it back? Rick, can you tell us a little bit about that accident right here the other night, or the other morning? Was it, there were vehicles parked
Right.
in this spot, right?
Oh yeah, this vehicle parked right here and the car was coming down 25 southbound. Lost control, went between the pole and the rock wall, hit Polly's vehicle, and shoved it forward. That's what happened there. But he was up here in this red area.
The problem with that space that's marked that I put in red is the fact that it was kind of spotlighted the other day in that accident, but it's bothersome for Warsaw Avenue. Is once you get there, you can't see past it, to be able to safely pull out onto Main Street. So that probably needs to not be a parking spot, it must be in a no parking area. So you have, so it improves the visibility of turning out there. I put these 3 spots over here. I'm not sure if that physically fits in there for 3 parking spaces. It may only be 2. This is an alleyway right here, so kind of left the section open. This is a bay into a garage here, kind of left that section open. And then this is a bay door here into Timmy's building, so obviously you get left the parking here, so it really limits you. You basically have a parking space and a parking space in front of the 2 buildings to keep them open. And then I don't know why you would put parking through here, because then you would block off access. And if you look back at some of the historic pictures, there's never been parking there. It's always been open. And then these yellow ones are the existing parking spaces. These two
are hydrants.
Yeah, there's one hydrant that's right here by this telephone pole, which is also where a dumpster is. And a dumpster blocks that hydrant most of the time. But that dumpster is actually in a parking space. I don't really want to say parking space because it's not really where it's all, but it's right here.
I'll say it's got the yellow line.
Yeah, me and Polly talked about the dumpster. I was actually by there today. He's got yellow area cordoned off, keep the dumpster away from the hydrant. Normally he does a real good job. I stopped there on frequent occasions and said, hey, you're like across the line, blah, blah, blah. And he'll go out there and move it. A lot of times it's whenever the garbage guy dumps the garbage, sometimes he sets it a little bit too close. But as far as that, keeps it 10 foot away. He's got it marked off, I mean. So.
Right. But anyways, this is just some just quick recommendations based on what's in the right of way, what we have the authority to be able or required to control, I should say, by the state. These 2 parking spaces here are completely questionable. Those, as you can see, where this black line is, that's roughly where the state right-of-way is. So these 2 are questionable. That's where where Tony parks. Like that's where his customer parking is, in those 2 spots there. So I kind of got those labeled green, but those are really customer parking. All right. The reason why I'm bringing this all to you and just kind of bring this up to discussion is we've had discussions with all of the property owners. Timmy was at the meeting, Greg was at the meeting. I don't think anybody else in here was, besides Pete and Rick, Brett, I don't know who else. But it's really this is just discussion let you look at what we could do and versus what we're doing now, which is really nothing. There is no real sidewalk on this side, as you could see from some of those pictures. There really is no sidewalk. I'm not sure why that was, how that ever got to that point. But, you guys have any questions?
You're talking about Floyd House, is that a two-hour parking?
Well, that's an excellent question. And I really don't know who to defer that to. Well, there is, but I think the signs got taken down, if I'm correct?
We never took them down.
Huh?
We never took them down.
Okay, you didn't all take them down?
We put new ones up.
Okay. Rick, there was something with the 2-hour enforcement.
There was no ordinance. There's no parking ordinance there. The only place you got a parking ordinance is on Broadway right here. That's it. You can't enforce that sign. Just can't stick a sign up and say you want to start doing it. Got to be no ordinance. There's no state statute saying only 2-hour parking. So it'll have to be a city ordinance. The problem you got there, quite honestly, is Polly's using that for his own personal parking lot all the way up that post. And he's getting by. They'll set that camper out there, leave it out there for a day, and then move the next day one spot over or one spot back. That's what he's doing. And that's forcing all the other people down towards Timmons.
Now, I will say this. When I actually went down there to take the pictures today, I drove down across Short Range to Warsaw Avenue, and I was planning to park right in here to take the pictures. And there was nowhere to park because there was a camper, there was 2 of his employees' vehicles, and I think there was a little wave runner. I mean, there was nowhere to park. It was all being taken up by business, by either vehicles being worked on or by people that work in the business, stuff like that. So I don't know where the
It'd be like
customers are
taking on the
supposed
car,
to
you work on
park.
parking
That's
on
the
Main
reason
Street.
I parked all the way
Or
down
the
where you
drugstore,
saw
anyway.
where I did in that one picture. But that's a lot of parking spots that we're not really being able to use for public parking.
So there's no ordinance for that?
You don't want any place you got
But
to
to
park.
answer your question, yes, there is signs, but
There's no ordinance.
the police can't enforce an ordinance because there is no parking.
This ordinance is not a valid setup for this. It's 1992. 482/1992, Section 3A. It's from 1992.
482.
482, 1992.
Foreman Dry Ridge, out of St. Elizabeth, Florida. Chief Department, 1853.
Section 3A is on general parking, D is handicap and C is sign.
It's probably vague at best. I don't know. Legal
What's in
language.
section 4?
Okay, so that was my question, so we need to,
I mean, it said that, you know, during times and whatever else it said. I agree. Nothing was established.
but we need to make that statement, that this ordinance is out of date, that we probably need to make sure that we have.
Can you even do that anymore? Issue a local fine.
$30.
Well, that's handicap.
Handicap.
Well, we might turn it off right there. Don't like you guys anymore. But anyways, the reason I'm bringing this up is so you can kind of look at this. I know this issue's been brought up a couple times before, and this isn't anything against any of the businesses that are on the Main Street, but obviously it's not regulating itself. And unfortunately, we're probably to the point where we have to step in and do something on this.
There are times that there is work being done
at the white line in the second place. And it's dangerous for them, let alone anybody else.
So anyways, I only brought this up as a discussion, so we can kind of just talk about it.
Can Paulie clean that alleyway out and park his vehicles right there?
Fix it.
Wish Paulie was here to be able to answer the question. I don't know. I think he tries to keep that open.
Yes, no comment? Okay.
I mean, other than a couple parking spots, Timmy, correct me if I'm wrong, but this really doesn't affect you so much because you've got plenty of parking either in that showroom area or in the back. So, I mean, this really doesn't affect you that much other than where your blue truck and wrecker was parked. Well, your wrecker would have been in a parking spot.
So this mainly making the Carlsbad lady mad and Paulie?
Well, since then, she's abandoned her efforts to make that private parking. And has turned that over for us
So
to.
why don't we just step in and make it regulate your width, find out your width, and make it home and be done with it?
That's the reason why I'm just kind of presenting all this. to
Go
you.
up to in front of the McCoy house up there and make it $2 parking, let's do our ordinance and put the no parking at the end so you can see coming out of Warsaw Avenue.
Well, that's the reason why I wanted to bring it before you. If that's what you want to do, then.
Is that just gonna consist of us putting our own lines down and?
Yeah, we'd have to mark the lines and put the signs on it, and then obviously enforce it, but right now.
You
police
was there,
department
and they're
can't
parking on
enforce
that
it.
corner coming out of the bank too, there. You cannot see them, you got parking on the bank and shit there.
Private sidewalk.
Bring it up.
Then you can pull that spot out.
I think there needs to be some effort to define something more called sidewalk
Yes.
into there, because something bad's gonna happen, and the issue that we're gonna have is clearly we've known about this for a long time, and we didn't do anything. That's what concerns me. I think, I agree with what Kenny said, you guys can mark the parking spots, and that's easy enough, well, it's easy, relatively easy to do, I suppose. But beyond, and then of course the enforcement.
Am I
Of
right?
course, they expand a little
Oh,
bit,
that's fine.
let's just be honest.
Coming out of that road.
But then I'm also concerned about making sure that you find
Huh?
something that's like
Go build a can of
sidewalk.
water.
Well, can't you,
Yeah, but
the sidewalk,
When he parks in front of the old bank there, big rig, camper van.
You're right. You're right.
North or
somewhere
south.
with the dumpster, somewhere with the dumpster.
If you look, it
That's what
actually
point
goes
that out,
in
Greg.
front of the building.
Yeah, I understand.
Right, we did just have pulled up right there. The
So it's
one
not
on the
visited
end of the
in
green
the
there.
No,
That last spot on the green end, that first one in front of the bank. He parks a big
There was actually a
camper
sidewalk
and-
all the way, that was right in front of the building.
It was very similar to what's already currently there in front
Is
of
that
that.
a city street or
Right.
not?
It was just over the years, I guess it got.
The one next to the bank.
I really don't know. I can't tell you how it got to where it's at now.
So do you put some
Hey,
kind
Jimmy,
of walking
look.
between Timmy's place and the parking lot?
Yeah, you would probably mark it with another fog line, another white line that would indicate that's where the parking boundary is. Yeah.
The road that you turn down the bank and go back around there, is that a city road or is that a private road?
That is not that is not a city street.
So you can block that off and nothing you can do about it.
No, it isn't. If you'll see right here where this line is, these two folks own that. That is not an
On the
easement.
road,
Well, we plow it while we.
why do we plow it, why do we blacktop it?
I can't answer that question. I really can't. I can't answer the question why it was blacktop, but we did go through and we did try to find where it was an easement to that street.
So who owns it?
It's owned by those two property owners.
So then we shouldn't have to maintain.
So then we don't maintain it. We don't blacktop it, we don't work on it.
Agree? Now, this research we did when I was doing the research for the
But when
alley.
when we built that building, we were told that was a road and that road had to stay open in case they need to get through there.
I haven't been able to find anything. I really haven't. If you go to the deeds on the Pinewood, it doesn't talk about that.
Right. Don't maintain it. Why
Well,
are
we
we
gotta
paying?
do something down there because of that manhole there.
Now, we have
Something's
easements.
gotta be done there.
We have easements for the sewer. but there's not a dedicated.
But if that road is not city, I ain't paying to have it blacktopped, and I'm not paying to plow it. Let them pay to plow it, and let them pay to maintain it. We already maintain enough stuff that's not ours.
No, we never could figure where Ginseng Alley was. Yeah.
Some of these deeds, and you have to understand, I worked up there, but the sale of the bank, Lighthouse, that ended up being a circuit court action because the deeds were so old, and it hadn't been properly transferred over the years. The bank changed names a half a dozen times, and I'm trying to remember there was reference in those deeds, and this was a case we worked on about a year and a half ago. There's reference in those deeds to something called Ginseng Alley. And that's the reason I remember it. It had an odd name. Well, I can't remember now exactly where it was in relation to that. Now, even calling it an alley doesn't necessarily mean it was a separate street, the city street. But my recollection is kind of what Jim was showing, that those property lines came right up to each other.
In 1967, the city had an ordinance, it's ordinance 257, that officially closed Ginseng Alley. But I haven't definitively been able to figure out where this is. If anybody can figure this out from this language, please help us. But that's all there is. It just keeps referring to the alley. But it doesn't say where. I don't know. I don't know if that is that or not.
It might be.
Ginseng Alley.
Because if the only reason we did it is it does say Citizens Bank of Dry Ridge in there. The greater portion of the said alley is situated adjacent to and solely by Citizens Bank of Dry Ridge. So we're thinking that's that little alleyway right there, but it was officially in 1967 no longer part of the city's road or alley system. So it hasn't belonged to the city. If this is truly what we think it is.
Wasn't there an alley that went behind the Citizens Bank to come out?
They come out of it, probably,
Went all
went all the way over.
Right.
Went all the way through the doctor's office and everything.
I believe that, but I don't know. You're looking at the same thing we are. I don't know what this is, and I can't find from the deeds, even when the Pinewood was just recently sold, the deeds aren't clear in defining anything about an alleyway. It's got easements in there for sewer. It has the easements in there, but not as easy as it was for the alley on, the alley that is not been named yet on School Street.
Wasted too much time.
Every single one of those deeds on all sides of it.
Yeah, it went all the way through the store and everything.
Right.
Over to where you.
Across the parking lot, all the way over.
All right, so
That parking lot's
Greg, I guess
still
to
good.
your point, that isn't the city's.
All right, then we ain't paying to plow it.
I would agree with that too. Now, it was blacktopped a few years ago. I don't.
The city paid for
Sort of
it.
the city paid for that.
Yes, they did.
But,
Yeah, they paid for it.
so, I can't help you on that one. That one was before I had all.
I could pull some of these deeds. I've got a big file on that case involving the bank, and I should have all those deeds in there. And maybe look at those together with the mayor and see if that matching up with this makes a little more sense. But as we sit here, I think that alley, I think that's Ginseng. I think it was closed, and I think that those two owners own that space. But before we, start telling them we're not gonna do anything anymore, I'm ready to check.
Look at the minutes.
From 1967.
Just ask them.
Very charcoal. Chip.
I can't say that I've looked at those minutes specifically about that. We'll see if we can bring those up out of archives. We're finding a lot of stuff in archive and digitizing. What's that? Yeah, it is, it's a good question. So anyways, back to, that was a great question, Greg, but back to the other thing. as far as the parking on Main Street. Kenny, is that how you want to address it?
I would put some type of sidewalk between the parking holes and Timmy's building.
Can you go back to
If you
the
want.
screen?
The picture? Or
What he's talking about, I know, I'm pretty sure I know where it is.
We could go all the way.
the old picture?
Yeah.
The old picture?
No, the plan, this picture, right here.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, thank you.
On the road between the old bank and the Carlsbad ginseng out.
One's in front of him, one's in front of
Correct.
him.
Didn't it used to run all the way back behind there?
Yeah.
I mean, all the way
Yeah,
up,
all the way up, all the way up, it's all the way up there.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, but you're gonna have to.
And Citizens Bay just filled that in there.
Right.
They fill that in.
Right.
They fill that in. There's a parking lot there.
Yeah.
I would think
Remember
you
that?
might-
So is that, I mean,
Well, that's the English
Change the
change.
line.
This Friday,
Somewhat.
Junior Friday's mile.
well,
They have the
the
stores,
question
church.
is,
and
is that
everything.
ginseng alley or is that?
Oh, no. I'll find out.
I'm thinking that back behind there, might be what they're talking about, because if it was used solely by bank employees, they wouldn't be referencing that, because they would be.
Actually, basically on the sidewalk, because there's room between, there's enough room between the road and where they're parking, and then where they're parking in the building. So, it would be on-street parking, basically, where you, just like, South Bay, would be. There would be like a three-foot walkway with a, then the parking space right next to
So
it.
Timmy may not be able to park the blue truck there.
Right, where the blue truck is, that would probably be the sidewalk.
Yeah.
How would you put a sidewalk in? Do they make a rounded sidewalk that you can drive over?
We're not talking about,
3 garage doors there.
I think all we were talking about was lines.
Just marking it with a
Yeah.
line.
Is
not-
mark it with the
Just
line.
an indication.
Right. Please do, yeah. I'm good with it.
You guys go there in front of the old barber shop? Or the Tim's barber shop?
Get friendly park place. I'm good.
Like I said, this doesn't really.
Good point.
But let me tell you, when you come through there, and if you look at the front left wheel of the green truck, you're talking about from there towards the building from the sidewalk in?
That would be,
Looks like the green truck would be right about where the parking space would be, or blue truck.
And then you're taking the sidewalk from here to here, from McCoy's down to Judy's?
Well, the sidewalk would probably go
I
all the
don't
way
know
up.
what that's gonna do with Paulie, because he puts all them sea-doos.
Well, then that's somebody's gonna have to enforce that.
Right.
Well, that's the reason why I think you make it look like it does on the other end.
But don't come through like Bobby Robbins did 10 years ago, with a can of spray paint, and come through and get all some lines. And then I looked at him and said, well, now you need to fix the sidewalk, because there's holes in my parking lot. You see what I'm saying? Well, I'm good with it, but you gotta come through and fix my parking lot. Because you're gonna put people walking there, you're gonna open up a can of worms with, as bad as it is. See what I'm saying?
Like liability.
So protect yourself.
Somebody trips and falls.
Practically sidewalk is outrageous like that, so don't fight about it.
Every sidewalk and everything.
right. I mean, it's, in all honesty, Tammy, I understand what you're saying. That's a whole lot better than having to walk, zigzag through everything from here, around the street, which I've seen, worse
And
things
just,
to
and
do.
just particularly this day in the last week, I made a deal with Mayor Cripper years ago. I've always took the white line and pulled back 4 feet. I've always tried to, 90% of the time. Now, there's occasions, stuff happens. But I always pull back 4 feet to give people room to walk. But I can only do that in front of my property. I can't control the next.
Agreed.
The problem with that, Timmy, is you typically don't put pedestrian traffic between a parked vehicle and traffic flow. That's usually, you put pedestrian traffic between the parked vehicle and the building.
Right.
You don't really put them next to people who are driving. And that's the only problem with that plan. Because I have seen, I know Stacy passed away last year, but I have seen her have to drive out into the flow of traffic to get around.
And another guy,
Everything.
there's another old guy that's got a wheelchair. And kids, people walk all day long and have to step out. But I'm good with it. I'm in there, we regulate the sidewalk right up through there, and that'll cure, maybe that'll cure another problem.
It will with your boys.
So do you want to sponsor that then?
From a sponsor.
Yeah, do you want to?
Well, we buy a can of spray paint.
If you want to sponsor the ordinance, then we'll write the ordinance that way.
Sure, I'll make a motion that we put on both sides of the street, we regulate the parking and fix the ordinance for a 2-hour parking.
I have a question on that 2-hour parking. You know, you said, go back there.
Which one?
For the McCoys, for the recluse, that you said you wanted to keep that space open.
This space right here open,
Yes.
yeah, because you
Is there-
can't see.
I agree. Is there any way we can take up some more room for not parking so people can see?
Well, sure. It's just.
Or like maybe 2 parking spots?
Yeah, and this is just, this, I don't know that these are exact measurements. I just took an existing parking space and just
There's been a
kept staying
trailer,
in there.
trailer parking on that house.
That is a,
Impossible.
I don't think there's enough parking spot there either.
that's the biggest complaint that I hear, is that people need to come out in the middle of the road like they're doing, so.
If we need to take 2 parking spaces, we do what we have to do. It's very narrow right there anyways. You can't park a big vehicle in there without being right on the white line or over on the sidewalk anyways.
Is that gonna be maybe a 2-hour parking or a?
Well, how do you want to draft the ordinance?
But that's how it's coming out of the bank.
Because really, North and South Main Street don't have any parking requirements. Now, South Main Street takes care of itself very well. The businesses, of course, you can only park on one side of it. You can only park on the business, on like the drugstore side. But it takes care of itself very well, all the way up through there. But there is no ordinance there either for minimum parking. You gotta think about that. 2 hours, that might be a little short. May not be, I don't know, it's whatever you guys say. I know that the guy that, what's the gentleman's name, Rick, that owns the Army store?
Oh, John?
John?
Yeah.
Yeah, he parks across the street in one of those parking spots all day long, so you gotta look at that too. But you might be able to.
You can do 6 to 6.
That's what I was thinking, give them 2-hour parking between 6
There you
a.m.
go.
That would, somebody
Put some parking
that
meters
live
up there.
there, whatever, they can, they have access to that, and you have to give them you. You can do a 2-hour 6 to 6.
Is that, 2 hours, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
Okay, so there was a motion, was there a second on that?
No, I just need to clarify, so what I have right now is to regulate parking on both sides of the street via ordinance will be 2-hour parking from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
He just got
Anything
more
else that
for more.
needs to be in that motion?
And we're gonna have to vote on that side.
Okay. You want to add that? You want to do all of Main Street on that?
2-hour parking on North Main too, or on South? Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're gonna have a problem with it anyway.
I don't agree. But that's consistent.
All right, so the motion for a second.
What about the funeral home? You might have somebody there longer than 2 hours.
And they've got a parking lot there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the one thing, that's kind of what I was saying. I was thinking more the ladies who go to the hairdressers. I don't know. Do they have more than 2 hours in this area?
Depends on the park sometimes.
Last time I got a permit, it took about 3 hours.
Depends on your
Just make that one section.
Depends
Let me put this out.
Dick, will you tell them?
Is the issue really whether somebody stays there 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, or the fact that they stay there days and weeks? I would suggest that perhaps making the time frame longer would probably still solve the problem, because it seems to me the problem again is the fact that things are parked there for days and weeks. And I wouldn't want someone who had good reason, or even these guys who were doing work and stuff for whatever reason, not just talking about the funeral homes and things like that, that needed to have a car parked there a little bit longer before somebody came back and picked it up or whatever. I'm using that to me would be an issue, so as long as we address this issue of stuff sitting there for days.
Daryl actually brought this up. Daryl owns a tattoo shop, and he was asking me the other day when I was talking to him about this, that he would like to see at least 4 hours as a minimum, because if people are getting a bunch of tattoo work done, it does take more than 2 hours. And 4 hours is usually about all they can stay in a single city. So,
I've seen signs different places that it'll say, it won't have a time frame, but it'll say parking for, customers only, parking for certain customers only.
and you can do that when it's privately owned property. Public
Right, but what if we
parking.
did, instead of saying like specific, what if we did like a generic parking for businesses only, or something like that, like this? Like, is there a way to word it so that it sounds like you can't park here if you're not here on business? Basically, you can't just park in.
Since it's public parking, I don't know if you could restrict,
Maybe you could.
I don't know, Sarah, I don't know that you could do that. I think it would be a whole lot easier just to set a time on the line.
Hey, Jimmy, I got something. When you got a white, you got the yellow line, and you got 2 white lines, how far on each side of that white line is the city got jurisdiction over, coming to North and South Main?
It would be all in everything that's the same around here. Yeah.
Okay, how many feet is that on each side of the white line?
Well, that's an interesting question, because when they come down there, when they mark some of those things off, without those points, it comes over almost to those buildings. It's on the other side of the Conrad wall. So if you were to follow a straight line down through there from that center line, and that puts it about right here, almost right where this black line is.
Okay, that's what that
Yeah.
represents on that?
Don't they have 25 feet from the center of the road over?
It varies. It does vary. There is some.
I know on our street it's 25 feet.
But they, even when the district office sent surveyors out here and mark it for us, and that was been a year ago, but I think we've captured where all those marks were. We have those marks, but, those are a lot farther over than, they're really close to the building. Parking is not an issue, as far as enforcement in the public right of way. All right, so there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
No, we'll go back to the hourly thing.
Okay.
What's everybody's decision on that? Are you gonna stick at 2, or are you gonna go to 4, or?
If we have businesses that are saying they need a 4-hour parking, that's,
I think you gotta leave 2 to 4 hours.
How about if we do this?
Wait a minute, is that gonna be for both north and south? We're gonna do a time limit there. You gonna tell those people they can't park there for 4 hours? Unfortunately, that's what they've been working on that parking lot in the back for, because. I don't care how we do it, I just wanna know, I don't want to know.
You're right. That's a very good
We're
question.
gonna tell Tony,
Why does it have to be, why do you have to have 4-hour parking in front of Pinewood?
those people live there.
What he's saying, I think he's saying just one spot. You know what you're saying?
Well, I was just thinking of 4-hour parking from,
In front of the police.
or just on that side of the road. In front of the
On the west
tattoo, yeah, on the west side.
How can you pick on one side and not the other?
I'm just trying to
I think the
make
best thing to do
the
is bring it
Pinewood
home.
people
Let it stay as it is, we'd be better off, probably.
How about you get rid of Polly and the problem's solved? And I don't really have no problem with it, you know?
Well, Pinewood is a residence, right?
It would be a 6 to 6.
Well, it wouldn't be any,
Restriction on time.
if you did a 6 to 6, where you did the parking enforcement and then overnight, you didn't, is that what you're talking about? Could be 4-hour parking from 6 to 6?
I don't think.
Well, what's the concern? I mean, if they get home at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then they've got 4 hours till 6 o'clock, you're not allowed to park there anyway. I mean,
Unless they work nights.
Shuffle around cars.
Petrie building.
We've done a lot of work back there because of this.
What's gonna happen if somebody's there for 5 hours?
There was a road that was a road behind the school, because when we built that building, we had to allow them that if today they want to make them go right through the middle of that high school, it's hollow.
That's what she said. She said it was went up there behind the wall, and they come out there.
They have parking in the back. Have parking in the back. This is not usable?
Some are not.
They're working.
Okay. So there's no requirement.
They've expanded their parking considerably. She even took the signs out in front. You used to have signs on all those spaces that said Pinewood parking only. She's taking those signs out now and kind of indicated that just let it be public parking. So her tenants kind of know that they can't, it's not parking just for them, it's for anybody. If it's somebody going to the tattoo shop or flower shop or the semi shop.
Right, which is fair enough, but I'm saying, let's just start with her. For example, she has business, doesn't have enough front. Her own business, correct? Essentially. Is there any code enforcement that says she should? Because the reason I'm asking is, I know if I build something, I have to have a amount of spaces per person that's going to be there, an employee, and
It's a
have a little
central
bit of
business
building in
zone.
that 1,000 parking spots.
It's a central business district, so
Mhm.
you're not required to provide parking in central business. That's one of the things about central business, that high density like a downtown area.
Okay.
The zoning ordinance does, we'd have to change the zoning ordinance if we want to do that. And now we're back to changing other things.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe something to gnaw on later.
Right,
But,
I get it. But it would be hard to say that, the Army store, for example,
hmm?
that they wouldn't be able to, about the little yellow house between the detail shop and the Army store, it doesn't have any parking there whatsoever.
Right.
None in front, none in back, they don't own that, they have nothing.
Right.
They wouldn't say, hey, you can't put a business there because you don't have parking. You gotta be able to require, or you have to be able to provide parking in order to have a business. That's why central business allows you to get away with that and you share parking in the right of way. I mean, that's the theory behind it.
What's the appliance shop? That's a prime example. He has,
Well, but he does have parking on the side.
most of that's shared parking.
No, that's actually his parking.
Oh, is it? I was going to,
Have you taken into consideration about the police taking care of this? It's gonna be time consuming.
Okay. That's what we have police officers to enforce the rules, the law. I don't think it'll be that hard.
I don't think it's gonna be a big issue.
I just talked to one of the Fryman's. She said that she don't remember no Ginseng Alley, but that, she said back then there wasn't road signs, so people just called roads what they called them kind of deal. She said it could have been the one behind the old slaughterhouse that comes out between Southern States and the old Marina Petrie building. That's what she said. She said she knows that was an alleyway that people used to get up in there, but she couldn't remember the name of that either.
But it specifically says,
it says,
the Citizens Bank of Dry Ridge. It specifically says that in there. I just don't know which side of it. If it's on the railroad
Right.
side of it, or...
He's still on the other side of the road, I think, 'cause he-
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the road.
He's on the other side of the road.
After that alleyway comes down beside,
There's always been an alley there.
right, that's what, right. That's what she said. They're gonna run there and come out behind the Salt House and come out there in front of the old Citizens Bank there.
Right.
That's what she said. Come, and then pretty much straight across beside Citizens
Okay,
Bank.
right.
The kind of made
So
a
we've got,
U.
we've got a motion and a
Because I
second,
know that's not-
and we're still finishing discussion. How about if we do this? What if you want to go ahead and finish this, we put the proposal together, bring it back before you, and then you've actually got something to look at, tweak.
Has the motion been changed to change the number of hours for working, or is it still sticking at 2 hours?
I think it's
Chunk.
all right. Any other discussion? Guys got anything? Go ahead and draft this and get it back. If this passes, all in
Is it
favor?
for 4 hours?
All right. I'll have to do this.
Possibility.
Let's see, all in favor of Kenny's motion, signify by raising your hand. Okay, I see 4, so that passes. Okay, so we'll draft something, we'll bring it back, and then you'll actually have something to look at and work with. I have Sarah, Carissa, Jim, and Rob.
So we can make that side 4 all too.
All right.
We went through this one time, we had all the mess over there, it was years ago, I remember. That's, bad.
We'll see if you move that thing like that.
Item number 2, executive session, pursuant to KRS 61810, section 1, subsection C, for pending litigation. I have a motion to go into executive session by Jim, second by Carissa. All in favor?
I'm gonna do it. In the Poundwood parking spot, have them park this way, that way, and it was like, stop and see that people park. So, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Gary, on that bench. Yeah, we are. He said, we're not. I said, yeah, we
England.
Who is that?
That's like,
Hold on.
That's why he went up.
you wanna know what the status of it?
Hey, Kenny. Yeah? Huh? Come on, man. Don't be a whip. Huh? First deal in town was the Indians in the You think she freaked
Dismissed anyway,
You should still go to school. You should still go to school.
Out of school.
So cool.
Huh? Yeah.
I think everybody on the park at Walmart, parking lot, walk to town, that's all the whole damn program.
Yeah. $3.
Yeah, it'd be probably too quick, to be honest with you. Too bad.
Go to work every day.
This is my fault. I told them, remember, cold,
Well, you need pretty big on that. Yeah, I think pretty good. That's what this is like. You don't know what those are. Yeah. Well, basically what you got right on the phone. Right, that's right.
You don't want to straighten the lane down. No, we never have, but I'm not looking for it. But I would have hoped this church, they $20 in just not a low brain. $1,800. If you know where the shop's now, just sugar,
Just remove it. I mean, that is it.
I'll see this.
I mean, add that in.
I'm already called.
It's a no-brainer, but I've been doing it about 6 months. Yeah, that's consistent. Relax. And then I got what, I'll go up. 2 times.
What happened to that veteran?
When we don't have those down. Oh, yeah.
We're just going down to the, where the curve is.
It took me a long time. I'm just what do you make more of? Yeah, that's what you want.
Once it gets black,
It'll make it black.
No, you go out for school.
You can go out and get the drag on it. They would still show something they're teaching. Like when I was you'll see nobody. You know, it's really ambitious. I don't know if they're
yeah, you can only come in if you buy
because they have no choice. Yeah. But they want to do it. Yeah. We would close down all the streets and the but still,
I think it's very going to be, it's going to be slightly
outside service of those quality weird, an outside company that doesn't have control of it, that's really solid.
We adjourned, then.
Well, one more. Well, I mean, that's sit down, buddy.
So with the motion, we have to, seconded by Carissa, to lodge executive session. All right, so we're back in regular session.
Have you for my house up on that?
No action.
See where my last.
We're back in regular session. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion moved by Jim, seconded by Sarah. All in